I think a lot of us feel bad about our bad habits, like genuinely bad, guilty, ashamed, like there is something wrong with us because we keep going back to the same things again and again, right? So, scrolling, junk food, porn, laziness, escape into some random stuff, whatever it is. And I used to think that guilt was useful. Like, if I feel bad enough, maybe I'll finally stop. But honestly, that hasn't really worked for me. So lately, I've been thinking that maybe those habits are not the real problem. Because if you zoom out a little, most bad habits are doing the exact same thing. They are not there to ruin your life. They are there to numb something. They are there to distract you. They are there to help you cope. So it's basically self medication. And that sounds dramatic, but I don't even mean it in a deep way. I just mean there is something uncomfortable inside, and instead of dealing with it, we reach for whatever makes it quieter for a while. And the uncomfortable, and the uncomfortable part is we all have that one pain. We all have that pain. We don't, not just broken people, not just people with trauma, just humans. The problem is in that we feel it. The problem is that we don't really know what to do with it. So we suppress it over and over. And when you suppress something long enough, it doesn't disappear. It leaks out. It leaks out as habits that don't really help you in the long term. So when you keep going back to the same bad habit, I don't think it automatically means you are weak or lazy or lacking discipline. I think it usually means you are trying to cope with something you haven't really expressed. And that's why guilt feels pointless to me now, because guilt just adds more pressure on top of pain that's already there. So what actually helped me was realizing maybe I don't need to fight the habit directly, because the habit is in the root, it's a symptom. So when I obsess over stopping the habit, count streaks, forcing willpower, getting angry at myself, nothing really changes. It stops for a few days, but then I'll come back, sometimes wrong, sometimes strong. But when I pay attention to what I'm avoiding, feeling, then that's their things shift a little. And I'm not saying this like I mastered it. I haven't at all. Sometimes the only thing that helped me is writing stuff down, not journaling in a fancy way, just dumping thoughts. Sometimes it's talking to someone and saying things I don't even know were bothering me. Sometimes it's moving my body a bit. Uh, Walking, exercising, getting tired in a real way, not just mentally exhausted. And that's the part that surprised me. Some habits just lose their grip, not because I forced them out, but because they were not needed in the same way anymore. And I think we underestimate how addictive modern stuff actually is. Phones, social media, porn, entertainment, these things are designed to pull you in. So when you are already carrying unresolved emotions, of course you are going to latch onto them. So that's not a personal failure, that's a predictable outcome. So instead of hating myself for a habit, I try to ask, what is this covering up right now? Sometimes I don't even get an answer, but just asking changes the relationship I have with it. And I don't think change comes from stressing yourself into a headache. I think it comes from cutting the root instead of trimming the surface. So because if the root stays the same, the habit will always grow back in the same way. Anyway, that's just where my head's been at. And if you are new here, I make videos like this not because I have everything figured out, but because I'm trying to get better at saying what I actually mean. One of my goals with YouTube is just to speak better, not motivational speeches, just clearer, more honest, saying something once instead of recording I mean, instead of re-recording it 10 times and still hating it. And yeah, sometimes I delete entire videos because it doesn't come out right. That annoys me, but it's also a practice, right? Repetition is still a repetition, even if nobody sees it. And I'm still doing this challenge because of posting every day. Some days videos are better, some days I'm clearly just posting to post. The last week has been especially hard. Low ideas, low energy, low everything. But at least I'm still showing up. So next month, I want to show down a bit and focus more on the quality. New place, new environment, hopefully new ideas we'll see. Anyway, enough yapping. If this made sense, you stick around. If not, yeah, that's okay.